National Electrical Code Article 525, specifically Section 525.24, addresses branch circuits for outboard motors and inboard/outboard boats. Subsection D of 525.24 focuses on power supply cords. Paragraph 1 of subsection D states that power supply cords used outdoors shall have an outer jacket of moisture-resistant material. This requirement is in place to protect the cord from environmental factors that can lead to electrical hazards, such as shocks. Moisture can degrade the insulation of the cord, making it unsafe for use. The National Fire Protection Association 70E, or NFPA 70E, Standard for Electrical Safety in the Workplace, Section 130.7, addresses extension cords and flexible cords. Subsection B of 130.7 discusses protection from damage. It states that flexible cords and extension cords shall be protected from damage. This requirement is in place to prevent physical damage to the cord that can expose conductors and create electrical hazards. Damage can include cuts, abrasions, crushing, or other forms of physical stress. The interpretation of these codes in a specific scenario where an extension cord is run from a building on the ground across a heavily used rough driveway for approximately 50 feet to supply power to a block heater in an inboard/outboard motor during the winter months is as follows. Firstly, the National Electrical Code requires that outdoor power supply cords have an outer jacket of moisture-resistant material. Secondly, the NFPA 70E requires that flexible cords and extension cords be protected from damage. Running an extension cord across a heavily used rock driveway for an extended period would likely not meet these requirements. The cord would be exposed to moisture from rain, snow, and ice, as well as potential damage from vehicles driving over it. The moisture-resistant jacket required by the NEC helps to prevent water from penetrating the cord and causing electrical shorts or shocks. However, even a moisture-resistant jacket can be compromised over time with prolonged exposure to the elements. The requirement in the NFPA 70E that cords be protected from damage is particularly relevant in this scenario. A rock driveway is an abrasive environment that can easily damage the outer jacket of an extension cord. Vehicles driving over the cord can also cause significant damage, potentially crushing the conductors inside. When the insulation of a cord is damaged, it exposes the conductors, creating a risk of electric shock or fire. The use of a 75-foot to 100-foot extension cord in this scenario also presents additional safety concerns. Extension cords are not designed for permanent use and should only be used temporarily. Long extension cords can also experience voltage drop, which can reduce the efficiency of the block heater and potentially damage it. Voltage drop occurs when the voltage at the end of the extension cord is lower than the voltage at the source. This is due to the resistance of the wire in the extension cord. The longer the extension cord, the greater the voltage drop. In addition to the code requirements, there are also practical considerations to consider. An extension cord running across a driveway is a trippy hazard for pedestrians and vehicles. It can also be easily snagged or pulled, potentially damaging the cord or the equipment it is connected to. There are several alternative solutions to consider that would be safer and more code compliant. One option would be to install an outdoor rated electrical outlet closer to the boat. This would eliminate the need for an extension cord and provide a safe and reliable source of power. Another option would be to use a shorter, heavy-duty extension cord that is specifically designed for outdoor use. This type of cord would be more resistant to moisture and damage. It is also important to protect the cord from being driven over by vehicles. This can be done by running the cord through a conduit or using a cord protector. In summary, it is generally not acceptable to run an extension cord from a building on the ground across a rock driveway to a block heater in an inboard/outboard motor during the winter months. This practice violates both the National Electrical Code and the NFPA 70E as the cord is exposed to moisture and damage. It is important to find a safer and more code-compliant solution to provide power to the block heater. There are several resources available to help with electrical safety. The Electrical Safety Foundation International is a non-profit organization that provides information and resources on electrical safety. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, also provides information on electrical safety in the workplace. Always consult with a qualified electrician for any electrical work. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by someone who is trained and experienced. When selecting an extension cord for outdoor use, look for a cord that is specifically labeled for outdoor use. These cords are designed to be more resistant to moisture and damage. Choose a cord that is the correct gauge for the amount of power that will be drawn by the block heater. The gauge of a wire is a measure of its thickness. The lower the gauge number, the thicker the wire. Thicker wires can carry more current without overheating. If you are unsure what gauge cord to use, consult with a qualified electrician. Inspect the extension cord before each use. Look for any signs of damage such as cuts, abrasions, or exposed wires. If the cord is damaged, do not use it. Replace it with a new cord. When using an extension cord outdoors, keep it away from water. Do not use an extension cord in a wet area. If the cord gets wet, unplug it immediately. Store extension cords properly when not in use. Do not leave extension cords coiled up or lying on the ground. This can damage the cord and create a tripping hazard. Hang extension cords up or store them in a dry location. Never overload an extension cord. Overloading an extension cord can cause it to overheat and potentially start a fire. Do not plug multiple extension cords together. This can also overload the circuit. If you need more outlets, use a power strip with a built-in circuit breaker. Be aware of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs. GFCIs are designed to protect people from electric shock. They are required in areas where there is a risk of water exposure, such as bathrooms and kitchens. If you are using an extension cord in a GFCI-protected area, make sure the GFCI is working properly. Test the GFCI regularly to ensure that it is functioning correctly. To test a GFCI, press the test button. The GFCI should trip, cutting off power to the outlet. If the GFCI does not trip, it is not working properly and should be replaced. Avoid permanent extension cord use. Extension cords are intended for temporary use only. If you need a permanent source of power, install an outlet. Consider the appropriate National Electrical Code section for wiring and usage. National Electrical Code 310.15 covers ampacity, the current carrying capacity of conductors. Conductors must be sized appropriately for the load they will carry to prevent overheating and fire hazards. Table 310.16 in the NEC provides ampacity ratings for various types of conductors based on their insulation type and temperature rating. When selecting an extension cord, make sure the conductor size is adequate for the amperage draw of the block heater. Using an undersized extension cord can cause it to overheat and potentially start a fire. For example, if the block heater draws 10 amps, the extension cord should have a conductor size of at least 16 American wire gauge or AUG. A 14 AWG extension cord would be even better, as it would provide a greater margin of safety. It's important to choose the right type of extension cord for the application. There are different types of extension cords designed for different purposes. For example, there are extension cords designed for indoor use, outdoor use, and heavy-duty use. Using the wrong type of extension cord can be dangerous. Outdoor extension cords are designed to be more resistant to moisture and abrasion than indoor extension cords. Heavy-duty extension cords are designed to carry more current than standard extension cords. Always use an extension cord that is appropriate for the application. Regularly inspect the extension cords for damage. Damaged extension cords can be dangerous. Look for cracks, cuts, and fraying in the insulation. Also, check the plugs and connectors for damage. If you find any damage, replace the extension cord immediately. Do not attempt to repair a damaged extension cord. It's also important to avoid overloading extension cords. Overloading an extension cord can cause it to overheat and potentially start a fire. Never plug more than one appliance into an extension cord unless the extension cord is specifically designed for multiple appliances. Even then, be careful not to exceed the maximum amperage rating of the extension cord. The maximum amperage rating of an extension cord is usually printed in the cord itself. If you are unsure of the maximum amperage rating of an extension cord, consult a qualified electrician. When using an extension cord outdoors, keep it out of the water. Water and electricity can be a dangerous combination. Never use an extension cord in a wet area. If an extension cord gets wet, unplug it immediately and allow it to dry completely before using it again. Also, be careful not to run extension cords through puddles or across wet ground. The use of weatherproof connections is also very important. When using extension cords outdoors, it's important to use weatherproof connections to protect the cord from moisture. Weatherproof connections are designed to prevent water from entering the cord and causing a short circuit. You can purchase weatherproof connectors at most hardware stores. When using weatherproof connectors, make sure they are properly installed and tightened. Also, inspect the connectors regularly to make sure they are still in good condition. Another important safety tip is to avoid running extension cords under rugs or carpets. Running extension cords under rugs or carpets can trap heat and cause the cord to overheat. Overheating extension cords can be a fire hazard. If you must run an extension cord across a walkway, be sure to cover it with a cord protector. Cord protectors are designed to prevent people from tripping over extension cords. They also protect the extension cord from damage. Cord protectors are available at most hardware stores. When using extension cords, always follow the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions will provide specific safety information about the extension cord. Be sure to read and understand the manufacturer's instructions before using an extension cord. If you have any questions about using extension cords safely, consult a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician can provide you with expert advice on how to use extension cords safely. They can also inspect your electrical system to make sure it is safe and up to code. It is never advisable to ignore electrical safety guidelines when using extension cords. Doing so can create a dangerous situation that could result in serious injury or even death. Always take the time to learn about electrical safety and follow the safety guidelines when using extension cords. Your safety and the safety of others depends on it. Proper storage of extension cords is vital. When extension cords are not in use, they should be stored properly to prevent damage. Store extension cords in a cool, dry place. Avoid storing extension cords in direct sunlight or in areas where they will be exposed to extreme temperatures. Also, be sure to coil extension cords neatly before storing them. Coiling extension cords neatly will prevent them from becoming tangled and damaged. When coiling extension cords, avoid kinking or twisting the cord. Kinking or twisting the cord can damage the wires inside. Use a cord reel or other device to help coil the extension cord neatly. It is also essential to protect extension cords from pests. Pests can damage extension cords by chewing on the insulation. To protect extension cords from pests, store them in a pest-proof container. You can also use a pest repellent to keep pests away from extension cords. When using pest repellents, be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Some pest repellents can be harmful to humans and animals. If you have any questions about protecting extension cords from pests, consult a qualified pest control professional. The information above is for general guidance only. Always consult a qualified electrician for specific advice on electrical safety. Electrical safety is a serious matter. Take the time to learn about electrical safety and follow the safety guidelines when using extension cords.